Externalities are to me the hands down the most interesting kind of subtopic within economics. So what an externality is it's a cost or benefit that accrues, and all that means is that it goes to. So I'll just actually write that goes to someone not, someone not, and this is the key part, someone that is not involved in the, we'll call it the market transaction. So this is the big formal definition, and this should make a little bit of sense, but it shouldn't make too much sense. And with some examples, hopefully we'll get down to make so that this makes perfect sense. So an externality is just a cost or a benefit that goes to someone that is not, again, I'm going to highlight this twice because this is the most important part, to someone that is not involved in the market transaction. All right, and so then the second bullet point that I want to make is that when externalities exist, an unregulated outcome, an unregulated outcome is not, again, is not optimal. So basically every single thing in economics up to this point at least has said that markets are the most efficient thing that we've come across and we should just kind of let them be and not interfere at all. And now we get to the kind of the touchy, not so easy to quantify issue that is, to me, hugely important, that gives us a lot of reasons to regulate markets. So just again, when externalities exist, an unregulated outcome is not optimal. We can do better by using regulation. So now we're going to talk about, we're just going to give some examples of a negative externality. So negative will be in red, and then positive externalities. So positive will be in green. And by the end of this, you should understand and get a feel for what an externality is, and you shouldn't have to worry, or you shouldn't know how to work with them or all of that, and we'll do that in subsequent videos. But for now, I just want to introduce the idea. So a negative externality is a cost that goes to someone that is not involved in the market transaction. So let's say that I go out and I buy some manure to plant some flowers in my lawn, okay? So a negative externality is if I go out into my lawn and I put that manure down, the negative externality is the smell that my neighbors have to deal with. So I'm going to write manure smell for my neighbors, only for my neighbors, because I'm the one that is involved in the transaction. So it's not an externality for me, but it is an externality for my neighbors. So not for me. Now on the positive side, let's say that I'm using that manure and I'm putting it down so that I can grow a flower bed in my yard that not only I am going to enjoy, but everyone that lives around me is going to enjoy. So the positive externality would then to my neighbors be getting to look at my flowers. Getting to look at my flowers. Alright? So then let's talk about another one. Let's say that there's a factory that goes up right in front, right next to my house. So that factory, I'm not getting anything from that factory. That factory just went up right next to my house. So a factory's noise and pollution, would be a negative externality to me because I'm not at all involved in that market transaction, and the noise and the pollution makes my quality of life worse. That is these are a cost that goes to someone not involved in the market transaction, and in this case that someone is me. So also I should have just gone ahead and underlined this benefit is going along with the green over here. Alright, so then what about a positive? Well, let's say that me and my neighbor both live on a lake, and the neighbor decides to build a dock that he lets me go fishing on. So the neighbor's dock, I don't pay for it, I'm not involved in it, I don't plan on it at all. He just decides to one day go build a dock. So a neighbor's dock to fish off. Or I'll just say to fish. So that's a positive externality for me because it's a benefit that I incur and I was not at all involved in the market transaction. So then, you know what, I think that actually that's enough examples to give you some pretty good ideas. The one more thing that I want to say is that the majority of externalities that really make sense to talk about have to do with the environment. And that's really where a lot of this comes in, and it's one of the things in economics that I think is really incredibly fascinating. So you can see really every single example I gave here had to do with the environment. Here the manure was talking about air quality. This was talking about the kind of the scenery around my house. So let's do one more set of examples. So a negative externality, we'll go ahead and say, let's say that I have a house that overlooks the beach, and so I get a skyscraper put up right in front. So a skyscraper blocks my view. So that's a negative externality because I'm not getting paid for that. I'm not having any benefit that I get from, I'm not at all involved in the market transaction for that skyscraper. But my view is a lot worse. So that's a cost that is imposed on me. It's blocking my view. I don't have a view anymore. And I was not at all involved in the market transaction. Now on the other hand, let's say that there was a skyscraper in front of my house and all of a sudden it gets demolished and leaves me a view of the ocean. So that would be a positive externality. So the skyscraper, actually, you know what, that would really be the removal of a negative externality. But I'll go ahead and put it over here and just kind of make a little note. So the skyscraper is removed, and I'll say that can be looked at as a positive externality, but it's really the removal of a negative externality. So these externalities are very, very kind of delicate, touchy-feely issues, and they're really, really hard to quantify. It's really, really hard to measure what a view is worth, or what clean air is worth, or what getting to fish off of a dock is worth. But these things do have value. They absolutely do have value. And a lot of economics today is actually going into looking at how do we measure this kind of stuff. So that's all that I want to say about externalities just for an introduction. In the next couple of videos we'll look at how to work with them, how to make graphs with them, and why when externalities exist an unregulated outcome is optimal. So this part right here will be a topic for lots of future discussion.